This is my review of episode 5 of the Bleach anime. Don't have a lot of notes because this was almost completely one-to-one with the last 3 manga chapters I reviewed. In the beginning I wrote down, I just love the opening. It's always great to hear Asterisk. This is fucking so nice. We open that back up with this episode to Rukia performing Sokatsoi and blasting Shrieker in the back. We get the scene of Ichigo talking about Karin not crying, and it's like expounded upon. Yuzu doing chores is expanded on. Karin not crying is expanded on. Just more dialogue is more shown. So I thought that was an improvement. It was nice building on that idea. Chad hitting the hollow in the anime was significantly better. He just fucking really wails the fuck out of it. We have the suspenseful kind of OST kick in for the first time, that kind of translates a lot of that. And then here's like my first real criticism of this, because I kind of praised it for the most part so far. I really didn't have a lot of notes. The leeches exploding was like really lame in this. In the manga, when they explode, I don't know what the intention was, but it looks like blood's flying out of Rukia's head. But here it's just like goo is flying off her head, so it's like pop. She's like, oh. And it just doesn't look painful at all. I mean, it translates better to when she gets back up and she seems fine. But fuck, dude, it just doesn't look that painful. It's just like pop. It's not like an explosion like it is in the manga, you know. So I think that was done less justice in the anime than in the manga. When she runs away and the one blows up all over her arm and shit, it's not really, it's a little bit of blood, but it's not, it doesn't look, because the explosions and shit look so lame, she should still be able to use her arm in the anime. In the manga, they blow the fuck up and her arm's just covered in blood and blood's going everywhere and shit. It's bloody as fuck, her sleeves are all destroyed, and then this, she just looks like it'd be in pain. It doesn't look like she should be able to use it. When we get to Rukia getting to the stopping while Shrieker was chasing her, she kind of stops and we get a scene of the river flowing, and there's just a lot more build up for when Ichigo's gonna put his foot on Shrieker's head. It's like shown all around, and she's talking and stuff, and Shrieker's kind of like, what the hell's going on? It's just, it takes its time to really build on it and stuff. And then there's a really nice guitar riff. And it just was done really nice. Of course, Ichigo then jumps over him and stuff and he gives this whole speech. Seeing where Rukia puts glow on and stuff was pretty much one-to-one. It was just nice to see that in motion. But then, the scene where Rukia actually hits Ichigo out of his body and Shrieker like sends the bombs at them is a lot worse. Cause the bombs explode and then Ichigo comes out of smoke and like slashes Shrieker's shoulder. But in the manga he lands on his head first, carrying Rukia, and she's carrying his body. In this he's not. He cuts his shoulder, he lands, and Rukia's just there, and it doesn't explain how she got there. She should have been dead in this, so that was a lot worse. They add a little bit on the whole thing where Shrieker's like chasing Ichigo. We see explosions going off and Ichigo's like dipping and dodging stuff. He slashes through them and they explode, of course, and stuff. All that's the same. We see the shot of Yuichi's mother on his body, but she's not bloody, so it's not really as impactful that like he watched his mother die. We're told, we're not really shown that. I'm just not a fan of censorship, so I'm going to bring up it every time they censor something in this review series. But as Shrieker's talking about all this, and we see Ichigo's face, the camera's shaking, his eyes are, really intense, the music's going, so that better conveys Ichigo's feelings. It better conveys his anger. The anger is feeling about what Shrieker's done to this kid. The gates of hell opening up is really cool. Like, Shrieker's face gets slashed, and they got rid of the fucking thing with his leg, which sucks, because that was a great scene. Really conveyed Ichigo's anger, but it also conveys a bit of malice, and I think that's why I took it out. Or just because it was gory, I don't know. But, when his face is slashed, there's like this green light that shoots up out of his face, and that becomes like the scene between the doors for the gates of hell, and the gates of hell appear. It's a little less like, Ichigo's less like freaked out, and Ruki is a little more nonchalant about, hey, these are gates of hell. It's pretty much 1-to-1 when it stabs him and stuff, except his mask like shatters away before he gets pulled into hell. And then we just see the gates close on him, and then they crack and crack and crack, and then they finally shatter. In the manga, it was night. Here we saw the moon, the classic like Kubo crescent moon. But here it's just evening. And that was pretty much the last change. They changed the placement of Chad and Yuichi's talking. And then Karin is in her own bed, so sharing about with Yuzu. Those aren't really like, I can't criticize or praise them, they're just changes. I already talked about it. It's a really sad story, Yuichi's story. I talked about that in my chapter 12 review. And I like the butterfly thing. The butterfly was also moved. In the manga, we see the butterfly, then we see Karin. Here we have Karin thanking Ichigo, and then the final shot is the butterfly flying off into the night. And the whole use of the butterflies is nice too. Nice way to convey the concept being done and stuff. But yeah. That was my review of episode 5 of the Bleach manga. I think chapter 5 of Bleach anime, I think the manga is a better way to go, just because for what the anime did add, it excluded stuff that I felt was a little more important. In particular, the scene where Ichigo's making Shrieker feel fear, like that's an important scene, I feel like. Really gets across Ichigo's character. So yeah, I'd recommend the manga over the anime for this particular part of the story. Which is probably good. It's been the case so far, and it's probably going to continue to be the case for the majority of this shit. It's usually the case anytime someone watches anime. It seems like most people prefer the manga because it is the author's intent. The mangaka's intent in this case. But obviously the music in Bleach is great. The openings are always great. And seeing the characters' emotion and color is also just wonderful. So the anime is never a bad choice. It's just inferior. But yeah, my thoughts on episode 5.